Okay. Okay, so today we talk about traveling, and I have a question for you. Let's read this. It says, traveling leaves you speechless, then turns you into a storyteller. Interesting, right? Traveling leaves you speechless, then turns you into a storyteller. What do you understand for this? What do you understand for this? Traveling leaves you speechless and turns you into a storyteller. Please send me your ideas in the comments. What do you understand for this? Traveling leaves you speechless, then turns you into a storyteller. What do you understand for this? I give you 2 minutes, only 2 minutes to give me your ideas. In the chat, please, in the chat. All right? Let's go in the chat. Give me your ideas. Give me your ideas, please. Traveling leaves you speechless, then turns you into a storyteller. I don't see your ideas. Send your ideas in the chat. Okay, I think we have some ideas right here. When you travel, you're fascinated by it, and then you have a lot of things to tell people. All right, that makes sense, right? When you travel, you're fascinated by it, and then you have a lot of things to tell people. Okay, that's good. That's a good point. Thank you, asking for saying that. Um, all right. What about Susie? Susie, what do you think? What do you think about this quote? Traveling leaves you speechless and turns you into a storyteller. What do you think? All right, so we're gonna move on. I have a question for you right here. Where would you, where would you like to travel next and why? Where would you like to travel next and why? That's the question we have to discuss. Where would you like to travel next and why? All right, tell me please. Give me your ideas. Where would you like to travel next and why? Where would you like to travel next and why? Saludos para Fernando Arteaga. Hi Fernando, how's it going? Where would you like to travel next and why? Tell me. Where would you like to travel next and why? For example, I would like to travel to India. How about that? Yeah, I would love to go to that Taj Mahal. What? You, Askin says, I want to travel next favela of Brazil because I want to see their culture. That is much. No, Askin, you don't want to go to a favela in Brazil. That's very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Um, you know what happened there lately? There was a massive shooting because the police, the militaries and the police, they intervene a dangerous zone in Rio de Janeiro, and there were like 120 people killed in this shooting against these criminals, these gangs, against the cops, the police. So it's not a very touristic place to visit. It's very dangerous. You have to be careful there. All right. Okay, but if you want to go to Brazil, I agree with that idea. Brazil is such a nice place to visit, right? Yeah. I mean, Brazil is very touristic. Yeah, it's a very touristic place. Hola, Samuel, ¿cómo estás? Saludos, ¿de dónde nos hablas? Hoy día estamos discutiendo una clase en inglés intermedio. ¿Qué tal? ¿En qué nivel de inglés estás? Okay, so as I was saying, asking, Brazil is a very touristy place. Oh, ok, Samuel. Si gustas, puedes quedarte aquí y escuchar. Hoy día vamos a hablar sobre viajes y vamos a ver algún vocabulario para describir lo que se hace en el viaje. Entonces, yo creo que vas a aprender algo el día de hoy, si es que te quedas, ¿ok? Entonces, no importa el nivel que te encuentres en inglés, si es que permaneces aquí, vas a aprender algo y estoy seguro de que eso te va a servir más adelante. Yes, go to Peru. Aha, Samuel says go to Peru. Okay, that's for you asking. That's for you. Go to Peru. Yeah, Peru is beautiful too. You can visit Machu Picchu, you can visit Arequipa, Lima, right? Brazil also is so beautiful. For example, Rio de Janeiro, right? And other places such as Florianopolis, Curitiba is also a very beautiful place. Yes, we have the best food in Peru. That's true. That's true. We have the best food. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on. So you would like to go to Brazil. Aha. Now let's talk about the past. This is a question. Where did you last travel to? How was your experience? Where did you last travel to? How was your experience? Okay? So, what I want you to do is to think about this question and answer. For example, in my case, guys, I traveled I traveled to Spain and my experience was amazing. I loved Spain so much because the weather was perfect. It was around 23, 24 degrees Celsius. It wasn't rainy or snowy, of course. I was at a place called Mallorca, which is surrounded by beaches. Yeah. Okay, Samuel says I travel. It was fun and mystery. Okay, you mean it was fun and mysterious. But the question, Samuel, is where did you last travel? What place? Where did you go? Did you travel to a city in your country? Did you travel to another country? Where did you last go? What about asking? Asking, tell us, where did you last go? Hello, Pulsarte. Welcome to this session. Oh, listen to music, says Samuel. Okay. Now, where did you last travel, Samuel? ¿A dónde viajaste la última vez? Where did you last travel? Oh, Askin says, I traveled to Spain too. This was my last travel. My last trip. My last trip, Askin. I really love the beach. Yes. And what part in Spain? What part in Spain did you travel? Yeah, Barcelona. Barcelona is a very nice, warm, beautiful place. Yeah, it's amazing there. Barcelona, amazing. And how was your experience? Oh, you love the beach. What else do you like about Barcelona? Asking. I travel a Chinese to see my friend. Oh, you travel to China. So you can say, I'm gonna help you here, okay? You can say, I travel to China. I travel to China. That's what you have to say. Eso es lo que puedes decir, ¿no? Que viajaste a China, dices, I travel to China, right? Okay. I traveled to China to see my friend. I traveled to Turkey, says Pulsoarte. Amazing. Turkey is beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love Turkey. Okay, no problem, Samuel. No hay problema. Aquí no tienes que avergonzarte. Aquí aprendemos nuestros errores. Okay. We went to the to La Alhambra. Oh, this was the most fun part, and we sat by the beach. That's amazing. Very good, Ashkin. Yeah, that's a very beautiful place. Barcelona is the best, right? Okay, let's continue with this session. Oh, Pulsoarte went to Turkey. Yes. Okay, take a look. Today we talked about vocabulary, common words to use when and while traveling. Take a look at this. Aha. Take a look at we have itinerary, layover, jet lag, scenery, customs, currency exchange, backpack, landmark, local, souvenir shop, hostel, overbooked, sightseeing, adventure, and route. So these are some of the common words that we use when we travel, right? For example, what I want you to do right now is to choose three of these words that you like or that you would like to practice. Choose three words and create three different sentences, ¿ok? Entonces, Samuel, vamos a crear tres oraciones diferentes utilizando estas nuevas palabras sobre viajes, ¿ok? So let's go. Choose three words to describe, to create some sentences. For example, I say, por ejemplo, empiezo yo. I'm gonna choose layover, right? Layover is when you have to take another flight, when you have a connecting flight, right? You have a layover. It means that you have some hours to wait in an airport, right? To take another flight, ¿no? El layover significa que cuando vas, por ejemplo, a una distancia larga, supongamos que vas eh, a Europa y hay algunos vuelos que tienen vuelos de conexión. Entonces, layover es como el tiempo de espera en el aeropuerto. That's layover. Okay? For example, I say, I went to Madrid and I had a layover in Colombia for 2 hours. Okay? You never had a layover? You never had a layover, really? Like you always had direct flights? You never had a connecting flight when you travel? You never had a connecting flight when you travel? I store my food in my bag in my pack black. Pack black. Maybe you mean pulsarte. Maybe you mean Samuel. Sorry. I store in my backpack. Backpack, right? Correct that sentence. I store my food in my backpack. Okay, perfect. Now, when you travel, Samuel, when you travel, what kind of travel is that? ¿No? ¿Qué tipo de viaje es ese que pones comida en tu mochila? Okay, so check your sentence. No, because Turkey is next to where I travel. Oh, okay. So you never had a layover. Okay, no problem asking, but try to use the other words. Try to use the other words. Okay. For example, you can use souvenir shop, sightseeing, overbooked, hostel. Right. Try to use the other words. And I want you to write three sentences. Three sentences. For this activity, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Okay? 5 minutes. I rented a hostel in Hamburg in September. Okay, correct. Now, Pulsarte, maybe you mean I booked a hostel. I booked a hostel. This is more appropriate when we talk about traveling, right? Because when we use rent, the word rent, it's mainly most common to use rent when we are living in a place and we are renting a space to live, right? But when we're traveling, it's better to use book. So Ashkin say, I will buy a gift from souvenir, but my economy was not allow me back then. Oh, I will buy a gift from I will buy a gift from a souvenir shop. Okay, let's correct that sentence. Asking from a souvenir shop, but my economy on maybe you can say, but I was short on cash. But I was short on cash. This is a more appropriate expression, asking, because we don't want to explain like the economy was bad in our pocket, right? We just wanna go easy on this. But I was short on cash, right? That's all. That's all that you have to say. I climbed Mount Everest with my backpack. Okay, very good, Samuel. Now, what about that's a good sentence, Samuel. Very good. Now you can use other words to create two more sentences. Very good, asking. Correct your sentence, and then you are two more sentences left. Okay. Okay, les falta entonces solo dos oraciones. Let's go, let's go, let's go. You can do it. You can do it. All right. Let's go, let's go. Okay, I hate to use backpack when I travel. I hate to use a backpack. I hate to use a backpack when I travel. That's the sentence. I hate to use a backpack when I travel. I went on an adventure to the United States. Wow, very good, Samuel. That's a good sentence. Very good. Asking, just check the article. I hate to use a backpack when I travel around. Um, Samuel, tell us more about your adventure. Tell us more about your adventure. Where did you go? ¿A dónde fuiste? Cuéntanos un poco más. Tell us more about your adventure. What did you do, right? Lo que hacías, que hiciste, a dónde fuiste, que visitaste. What did you eat, right? ¿Qué comiste? All right. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. No problem, Samuel. No problem. That's perfect. That's perfect. I went. Now you have one. You have to tell us one more sentence. Una oración más te falta. You have to tell us one more sentence. I food a pizza. Maybe you mean I had a pizza. I used to have jet lag when I travel. Okay. Um, check. Jet lag. I used to have jet lag when I travel. When I traveled in the past, right? You're using used to, so you mean the past, right? Okay. Now one more sentence, everyone. Let's go. Send me your likes and share this session, please. Compartamos esta sesión con amigos, amigas, cualquier persona que le gustaría mejorar o aprender inglés. I have never experienced of I have never experienced of currency exchange in another country except my own. What do you understand for currency exchange? Currency exchange is this place where we go and we change our currency, right? For example, if I go to Europe and I have my currency is dollars, so in Europe they use euros, right? So I have to change the currency from dollars to euros, right? That's a currency exchange. Now, asking, what do you mean in your sentence? I have never experienced a currency exchange in another country except my own. Maybe you mean you never had to go for a currency exchange when you travel? What do you exactly mean? Oh no, currency exchange is a place. For example, in the airport, you have a currency exchange. Uh, you know, these kind of currency exchange places. I took a longer route for to for arrive. Let's see. Oh, so you mean I took a longer route to for arrive to my hill? Oh, somewhere. Oh, maybe you mean I took a longer route to get to my place. I took a longer route to get to my place. This is the maybe this is a more appropriate sentence, ¿no? Una oración más apropiada, ¿no? En inglés no tienes que mencionar mi cerro, ¿no? Porque en inglés si tú dices my hill, van a pensar de que tú eres una persona con mucho dinero, porque los dueños de las montañas en Estados Unidos, en otro país, tienen mucho dinero, ¿no? Entonces, trata de decir to my place on, solamente to my place. I have never been in Korea. Okay, you've never been in currency expansion. Okay, so maybe asking you need you can say I never needed to um, go for currency exchange. But asking, I have a question for you. When you, oh no, but in Barcelona they use euros, and I think in Turkey also you use euros, right? Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. You never needed it. Yeah, you never needed currency exchange. Okay, very good, class. Very good. Now, you can take a screenshot, ¿no? Pueden tomarle captura, pero igual voy a guardarlo aquí en el TikTok para que tengan esta sesión y puedan revisarla luego. Okay? Now, these are the definitions. Aquí están algunas de las definiciones de las palabras. ¿Qué significa cada una? Okay? For example, itinerary, a plan of your trip with places and times, right? Sightseeing, visiting interesting places for fun. Landmark, a famous or important place in a city, right? For example, okay, I have a question for you. I have a question for you. Tengo una pregunta para ustedes, okay? I have a question for you. What landmarks did you visit when you last travel? Okay. What landmarks did you visit when you last traveled? Okay. That's a question for you. I want you to answer me this question. Okay. Vamos a responder esta pregunta, Samuel. What landmarks did you visit when you last traveled? ¿Qué es un landmark? No, es un landmark, es un lugar importante, histórico, en una ciudad, en un lugar. That's a landmark. Okay? So, for example, I can answer when I was in Madrid, I visited the Royal Palace. It's a very historical and important landmark in Madrid. Okay. Oh, Asking says, I visited Gaudi's art place, but I don't remember the name. Okay. But it was Gaudi's art place. Okay. That's nice. That's a landmark. Okay. All right. Very good, class. So today we've learned some words to describe travel experiences, right? To talk about traveling. Now, I have one last task for you. One last task for you. Okay? Using these words, okay, I want you to create a conversation. Look at the instructions here. Okay, Pulsarte says, when I was in Turkey, I took a trip through the Bosphorus. Yeah, that's an important landmark too. Well, it's a touristic place, right? Yeah, we can say that it's a landmark. Maybe you visited important landmarks around the Bosphorus. For example, maybe you went to the Galata Tower. Did you go to the Galata Tower? Or maybe to the Topkapi Palace, right? That's also a landmark. Okay, those are important landmarks. Now, what I want you to do is to create a conversation using at least minimum 5 of these words. 5 of these listed words. Okay? I will give you an example on TikTok. On TikTok, I posted the words that you have here and an example of a conversation. All right? I posted the these words and an example of a conversation. Well, that would be all for today. I hope you enjoy this short session and we will come back on Thursday. All right? We will come back on Thursday. So I hope you have a wonderful day, guys. Take care, and I'll see you on Thursday. Bye bye. Goodbye, goodbye.